Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back along to another episode of the Tenant Farmer. My name is David, as always, and today you join me on another beautiful spring morning here. We're clearing out a bit of muck from our box muck heap over here, and we're doing so with our new loader tractor. It's a beautiful time to get some work in, some road work in with the 6714, and we've been clearing out a little bit of this so far. There's only probably one more load left there, and then we're going to be doing a bit of groundwork. We need to get ourselves ready to get some drilling done soon. But before all of that, we're going to get ourselves in now. We've carted off a few loads there already, and let's just get that down. Wonderful. Loving the loader on here so far. Makes light work of pulling this trailer around, that's for sure. Let's just get ourselves all hooked up here. Alright, we are good to go. So we're going to be hauling this over to the new ground. Just because eventually... what I'm thinking is there's going to be a bit of spring barley going into that new ground there, and then we'll have the opportunity to spread this in the autumn before we drill the next winter crop there. So we will capitalize on that now and just take this load away. It's a lovely smooth ride with this tractor. Really, I mean, we've got quite a heavy trailer load behind us, but you just don't feel it. It's great, absolutely superb, and yeah, it pulls like a train as well for what I am used to. So. It's all good. Now what we're going to do, like I say, is get this one tipped quickly, and then we can get back. We're going to go and roll the new ground as well, because there's quite a few stones in there from whatever the last passage of cultivation was. So we want to see what it looks like, see if we can get those rolled in, so it's not going to cause us any issues before we drill it. And yeah, it might be our last time out with our this season, at least with our current combination drill, because I want to try and steer away from heavy tillage work, and so to do that we need to think of other options. Now that might be for the foreseeable having a contractor come in to do some of the work because we don't have a drill, but we'll see what that looks like as and when everything changes. Just stop and say hello to someone there quickly over the wall, but we're away. Yeah, nice quiet day for today. It's still a little bit of frost on the ground, so the ground's hard. We're not making too much of a mess, which is always good, because if you do make a mess, you just gotta come back and clean it all up at the end. But we're looking good, so we'll get this tipped. I could have used the 5470. We're going to be using that in a bit, and I just wanted to put this to work, really. New tractor felt like it had the need to, and it's just so much smoother with the gearbox here, flying through the ranges as we go up these small hills, and we'll see. And a couple of other jobs to do on the horizon. May have just got myself so distracted with talking to you folks that I missed my entrance. Look at that. Still not 100% used to coming into here. So let's try that again. Good job there's no one behind me. We'll lift this up as well just to make it a little easier. We have done a bit of fence trimming, or a bit of fence removal here, just to make it that bit easier to get in. It's still a bit of a slalom, but it's a darn sight easier than where it was, that's for sure. And then as soon as we get through that side, we might have to come in with and just trim back some of these branches ever so slightly, but ultimately this is how we're going to make it around. Tight to that fence there, but we're through. Excellent stuff. Grass is starting to grow here a little bit as well, I find. This field hasn't had anything on it. We're just going to see what this is like as a bit of an experiment, really. And truthfully, we just ran out of slurry. So we'll leave this bit. The rest of the grassland here has all had a good hit of slurry, so it should really start to kick on soon. And then we'll monitor it. We'll see what it looks like for either if we're going to get a cut of silage off at first, or if we're going to do hay straight away. Maybe do one half of it in first cut silage. I don't know, but we'll see. Got the field over the road that we can always look into as well, and the fields around the yard, so we're really not going to be short for grass, which is going to be handy. But yes, it's going to be good for us to try and limit the amount of man-made fertilizers that we'll have to put onto here, and that is the aim. That's what I really want to strive to do, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Okay, just quite a bit of grassland around here. Baby deer that needs to get away. Yeah, everything else is coming along very nicely. The cattle are doing well. They're spending a little bit more time outside now, which is good. And yeah, we're seeing a bit more of progress there, and hopefully they might be getting turned out for real in the not too distant future, would like to hope. So yeah, we're trying not to run on the cultivated area too much, but as you can see, a lot of stones around here. want to try and limit that a little bit. But we'll have to see how we get on. And I made a bit of progress here this morning, which is quite handy. But I think there's only might nearly be one trailer load left, so we might not even take that one back for right now. But yeah, let's just get this one tipped here anyway. Oh, easy, that's a bit too far. Alright, seems to be tipping. Ooh, want to get into that before it starts to roll over. Lord. There you go, that's a little easier. I think we're done. Let's have a quick look. Oh, I'd say so. Looking very fine indeed. Okay, get that shut. Let's get that down. The tree there as well. All right, and away we go. Looking good. And yeah, so that will allow us to get this field covered. We're going to leave this out here. We'll probably end up adding to it for a little bit more as well as we go on through the latter days of spring. But yeah, now is really time for us to get ready to start working on these fields because they are ready to go pretty much. And it's want to capitalize on this good weather so we don't have to get in the fields too much. Really focusing on the plans with the cereal crops for the next few years. We've always had an intention of slowly converting across to organic in the same manner that we are with our grasslands. So that's something we have to figure out and we'll have to watch. But yeah, it is all in the working, that's for sure. And we will, yeah, we'll see. But I think my hope is that we could get the drill out tomorrow. And we'll be looking good. So out with the rollers now though on the 5470, and then we'll be able to just see how that field looks, roll in some of those stones, hopefully get them away, push them in a bit, and then we'll be able to bring the drill over the top. But we'll have to see how that's all going to work out. Let's slow this down again. Where it does get a little tight. Nothing that we can't manage. Much easier now than it was, that is for sure. And through we go. Excellent stuff. Our John Deere baler is back as well. It went away for a service there and a bit of a tune-up, but it's all done. We decided to just send it to a local dealer to have a look at for a few bigger jobs on that one. So it's all dialed in, especially because we knew we were going to be doing a lot more square bales this year. We wanted it all singing true. So, and it is now. It's looking very, very good. I'm happy with that. Very pleased with that decision. And I'm hoping that we can turn out quite a few bales. We're going to be storing them at the new yard there on top of the new land, and also a few in our shed. We've still got a fair few trailer loads left in our shed at the moment, which we'll keep for ourselves next year. But yeah, a lot of it will be focusing on going to consumers rather than for our own consumption. And take our time through. There we go. Lovely stuff. Alrighty, well. There's only about half a trailer load left up there. We'll leave that for now, and then we can always come back and take the rest of it away once we get a little bit more from the cattle. They do need to be bedded up at some point soon, so we'll probably look to try and combine those two things. Right now, let's just get this into here. Lift the loader up a bit as well, and swing this trailer in. Still got that dip there. Overall the yard is much better, but there's a bit of a sinkhole forming there I need to look after. Excellent stuff. Do also need to don't know why that bucket's pointing down. Anyway. Yeah, tractor's looking pretty neat here, I think. And then what we'll do is just go and park this up in the yard actually, and then get on with the Massey. We'll pick up those rollers that we've left over in the nearby pasture there. And then we'll head off. So we also need to figure out, I need to get some form of big topper, I think, or mulcher or something, and I'll show you why on the way out. A bit of a plan that we need to tackle. But yeah, it's always nice actually. I'm enjoying having a lot of different problems to solve at the moment. That's been really enjoyable. Okay. And let's just park this about here for now. Looking at actually seeing if we could put the Arctic bale stacker onto the Fiat come harvest time, and I think we might get away with it. I won't get away with it though. Is leaving my lights on. There you go. And into the 5470. And what we'll do, like I say, we're just gonna go for a bit of a drive, pick up those rollers. This tractor's still going to do a lot of the heavier work for now, so we just have to take the loader off there. It's going to like put the drill on the front of this, for example, or on the back of this, and put the press on the front, because it's still capable, still more than capable. And we're going to start with a little bit of light work for this, really, which is just going to be picking up these rollers here. Alright, and off we go. Not going to be a particularly quick trip for us here. These are not really designed to go hurtling down the road, so we'll just take our time along the same way that we've just come from. And then we'll get ourselves into the field and have it all set up and see how we get on there, I think. But hey, it's a nice day. It's nice and early as well, so there's not too much traffic on the road. And we will be able to just bootle our way down through the village. Alright, well that was a bit of a loud rattle, but we're here anyway, and in we go. Ooh, it's not going to get around there that way. Nailed it. Perfect. Alright then, so just a gentle cruise up the hill. That's better, found the right range, and off we go. So yeah, this will be done, like I say, we're going to be looking into a few contractors for drilling in this autumn, because we're going to try a bit more of a direct approach there, which we can't really do with our combination drills. So there's going to be a lot of work to be done with that one as we kind of evolve our plan. But and as I mentioned earlier, we just bought that tractor, which means that we're going to be severely limited as to what we can do or what we could buy moving forward. So we'll have to see about that. Or at least for this year, and we'll take stock again in the spring next year. Yeah, hoping to see that we can get some good income from the farm there across the new revenue streams, and of course having this extra arable field here is always going to be a bonus. And we're going to be making a lot of straw this year as well. Plan to even try and make some OSR straw that we may use for ourselves and sell on some of the better barley straw. So there's a few different plans in the works there at least. And yeah, we'll look forward to seeing how that all comes together. Now, I'm not expecting this field to take us too long to do, and I'm hoping that it gets rid of buries a lot of these stones, but we'll have to see. The ground is quite hard, like I mentioned, so it might not. But we'll just have to see what happens, really. And let's get ourselves set up in the field, and then we'll show you what we're doing. And alright then, bit of a push around, but the rollers are set up now. Quite promisingly, we've made a bit of a mess there, which means that the soil is going to be not too hard in places. Now, let's just go down to there. We'll go into... We're in 2B. Let's start with that, to be or not to be, and see how we get on. 2C maybe then. Actually pushing in more of the mat on the top there. I don't know if it's going to be rolling in any stones, but we'll keep going. Also, if this is the case, it may well be something that we just have to tackle later on in the spring there, maybe. In the autumn, sorry. Is it reducing any of these down a bit? I think it's doing a few. Some of the smaller stones being pushed in there, which is probably a start at least, and we'll see what we're looking like. Otherwise, it's going to be a long old day of me rock picking here. But yeah, we'll give this a couple of rolls over there, maybe hit it from a couple of different directions. And then we can see how it's all coming together. So that will be the plan. There you join me as we are just doing a few little tidy up jobs before we get going in the drilling again. We were very busy the last couple of days. We have this field, we finished all but the headlands really on this field late last night. Drilling this into spring oats as it goes, and then the spring barley over there is being done as well. So we've just got to come in here this morning and drill in our headlands, which we'll be doing in a moment. You'll see for the most part there we got all the stones picked off of this field, which was a bit of a marathon effort there, but we got through it. So what we're going to do today is just take a bucket load back over to the yard, where hopefully we'll be able to use them in our filling the hole really. So we're out in the new Massey, just coming to pick up a bucket load here. We'll take this back and then yeah, just a few little small holes to fill in there and squash over, but where we were doing that bit of yard work. But the rest of them, I'll find a hole for them at some point. But drilling has gone through very well. Like I say, we've about a day and a half's work so far to get both the big field of spring barley in over there and the oats behind us. So we should get it finished off in about an hour or a bit this morning. And I think that's going to be the last time we use that combination drill, as we look to go towards something which is a little bit more sustainable and moving like a little bit more cost effective to use as well. So that's going to be for a future project for years to come as we try and figure out what that looks like. I'm for the autumn drilling, for the winter drilling program there, I'm tempted just to go towards a contractor because of the diesel prices and the wear and metal costs. It is very expensive to drill it with our machine here. Especially when it's just a 3-meter combination drill. Local contractor has something much bigger that they can bring in, but we'll worry about that later on in time. First thing we gotta do, ooh, that was a bit bouncy there. First thing we gotta do is just get this drilled. So I should have probably put the weight onto the back of this tractor. Little bit light there. We'll just take it around the corner very slowly. But yeah, I hope everything else is going well. We are at the end of March now. So we're cruising through there, getting everything done. Everything's starting to grow a little bit more now. Everything's looking a little bit more luscious as well as we come out of winter into spring. And we should really start to see a great improvement in our crops as well over the next week or so as they start to really reap their rewards. The temperature's warming up a little bit, ground temperature warming up. And so we should really kick on, which I'm hoping for. What I'd love to do in about 3-4 weeks there is be able to start thinking about first cut silage for us. And then moving on into planning for the hay after that as well. So that's where my mind's starting to go towards. As soon as we get the last of this drilling done, then obviously have to roll these fields as well. That's really what we can start to focus on there, which would be great for the farm, and just nice for everything. Really lifts that mood a bit, I find. But yeah, we're gonna go around here. We're gonna, like I say, fill this in, and then already put the seed into the drill because we ran out of seed. That's why we didn't really finish it off. It was getting a little bit late last night as well, so we're in no huge rush, so we'll leave it until today. But yeah, we did run out of seed, so we've filled it up. So the 5475 is ready to go, and we will we'll be in a good place. Otherwise, now that we've seen this temperature warm up as well, the garden produce is really kicking along actually. I'm very pleased with how that's all coming together. So hopefully we'll start to see some even more profitability coming from that really, and a little bit more increase in the revenue streams coming from that. That's what we're looking for really, so hopefully that will work. Now, this didn't have the wheel weights in the back there. Maybe that's something we should have looked into a little bit there, specifying those. But as you can see, there was just a little bit of a hole here. I think just because of the drain underneath there, it just keeps going a little soft. But overall, the yard's looking much better. Yeah, what we'll end up doing is just leveling this out ever so slightly. Putting a bit more through into there as well. And be looking good. We're just gonna crack on with this for a little bit longer, and then yeah, we'll head off in the Massey there with the drill on, and we'll be looking good. Otherwise, like I say, everything else is looking fantastic there. Pigs are looking good as well actually. There's a few of them that look like they may well be ready to go. I just need to get them kind of weighed, bring them in, weigh them off, and see which ones we're going to take. Beef cattle as well. It's getting close that time, So we will be looking into that in the next couple of weeks and just talking through what our journey is with those and how we look into managing our cattle. So yeah, should be an interesting video or two coming up soon regarding that. Right now, like I said, we're just going to finish this off, get it all looking a little bit better and even and tidy, and then we'll get ourselves away. So we shall catch you in the heading back over towards the field. All right, the old beast is up and away, and we are looking good. Made a bit of an improvement filling in that hole out. Still not perfect, but it'll do for now. Just satisfied that itch I had really to do it. But anyway, let's get ourselves away. Like I say, it took us, what have we done there so far? We've got 2 big fields knocked off. So that bigger field is about 30 acres. And then we're looking at around about, that little bit that we're doing in the moment, that's not too big actually. It's only going to be in and around about the 12. So that's going to be what, 42? I think we're doing 47 in all, so it must be 35. So we're getting going. Took us about a day and a half because we don't get being dairy farmers there. Ultimately, we don't get to just work a full day on the machines. We have to take care of livestock first, but we did, and it's gone pretty well. Again, easy little setup to run with this one. It does exactly what we need. We don't have a huge amount of output there or a huge amount of acreage to cover, so this gets through it all in good enough time. And yeah, very happy just to keep pushing through. That's the one thing I don't want to do really, is have to be at the beck and call of a contractor, but until we can figure out what the next solution is, because like I say, combination drill, in my opinion, is not the way to go. The amount of diesel we're using per acre on here and the current cost of the diesel is not great. So that's something we'll have to figure out. But yeah, like I say, anyway, right now it's looking good. Now we're just gonna go into here. This gets again a little bit tight around here, but we can get ourselves in. Alright, so we actually ended up going to that field there and manually picking off most of those stones. It was a bit of an ache, but we got through it all. And it was just something that was easier to do that way and tip them on the side. There's some bigger ones, some of the roller was able to break up and push down some of the smaller ones anyway, so you know, that's okay for right now. But yeah, heck of a lot of stones in here. Good job we're not plowing over all this, that's for sure. And yeah, got it all rolled over there, and it's actually working through with the combination drill on here. It's done a fair enough job of it, and we'll be curious to see how it comes through, and how, I mean, spring oats here should be fine, and the spring barley will not be a problem either. So but the spring oats there, and this land is a bit hit and miss in places. Of course, we have been putting the slurry down on the grassland there, but we will have to pay close attention to this particular field as well, just to see what else we need to apply to it over the next couple of months as it gets away. But that will be of interest to me. But yeah, we've just got the headland left to do, and we should be golden. So what we'll do likely is start. So we get through here. We're running, once again, we're running the 18-meter tram lines. So what we can do is to start on this side right about here, I reckon. There you go. Put our ridge marker down. And all right, looking pretty good. GPS we can use. It's gonna have to. We probably won't use on the headland though. We'll just use the ridge marker because we are going to be changing it and going at 90 degrees from each other on these two ends. But yeah, we'll see. You can see it's left a good finish. We're not going right up to the hedge line there. The aim, or the fence line, the aim is that we might be putting a few trees into here at some point, just to continue with the planting that's been going along all the other hedgerows there anyway. So we've left a 3-meter path. And then of course on this side here we've left a bit of space where we're tipping muck, because there's probably going to be a little bit more coming in. The rolls are here. We're not going to leave them here. We're just going to jump straight onto this field to roll it once we've finished with the drilling. But yeah, as you can see, gone in really well actually. You could do almost, we'll get this roll today. Could do with a drop of rain, and then we're laughing. And then we should really start to see it kick through very, very soon. And looking forward to seeing how it goes. So right now that means for our crop plan, we've got our spring oats here, we've got winter barley just on the other side of the hedgerow there, and spring barley in the field that we've just drilled. And then we've got some oilseed rape, which is in the long narrow field just down the way there as well. And that's our cropping for now. So it's not quite as much as we've had in the past, but we're starting to creep up those numbers. So that's always good. So we are looking at this field and the one over there. That's about 65. This is, what's this, 12. That's 77. And so looking about just under 100 acres all in at the moment for arable land, which is a nice number for where I need to be. And then we've obviously that of that 100 acres there, we have that little strip of I think it's 6 acres of the sunflower plot that we are going to be putting back in. So we'll I'm not sure if this time around we're going to put it into sunflowers again, or if we're going to put it into maize and just leave it be for there, but that is something we'll have to look into over the next few days. Again, I'm curious to see, because we don't really need it to establish very well if this drill will actually be able to do it, but we'll I guess we'll have to figure that one out when we get to it. Now, I'm not going to put the front press down for this because the ground's looking pretty good anyway, and I just want to get this headland done. However, let's just get this going. Like I said, the way they've set up, we're currently using the 18-meter tram lines, which means on the fourth tram line as it's set up right now, or the fourth pass right now, we'll be putting the tram lines in, which means that we have to just kind of overlap this first one a little bit for it to work properly. So the first time pass around, we're just going to put it in normally. The second one will overlap it, and that means that when the fourth tram line comes in, it's going to be right where it needs to be. But as you can see, it's tractor's just chugging along fine, not struggling on the hill here at all. Now we should be all nice and even. GPS, like I say, has been used, so they're all arrow straight going through the field, and then we'll be laughing. And that way we don't have to make any adjustments or shut any sections off when we come to spray and everything either. But yeah, really pleased with how this spring's going so far. Weather's been great. We've had a bit of snow later in the winter, really, that hung around. That wasn't too bad though, but otherwise the odd little shower, but nothing crazy, nowhere near as wet as it has been, which is worrying because it does make you think that it's going to come tomorrow instead. But we'll see. Get around there. All right, and we will yeah, we're just going to push through. We'll go all the way up to this end there. We started right against that far hedge line anyway and moved our way across. Now, like I say, this is oats. This is going to be split really when we harvest this, depending upon how well we do. Most of it's going to go for making porridge, and then if the quality isn't quite there, they look for proteins in there and things like that. If it's not quite there, I think it's going to go for animal feed. No, I think the oats will actually go for horses, so that's rather interesting. Yeah, we'll see how it does. Spring oats may well be something that we look to bring in a little bit more into our rotation. And then next year, hopefully, we're going to be putting in quite a bit of wheat into the two barley fields there. We're going to put a bit of wheat into there. And I am looking into the idea of putting it into the oilseed rape as well that we have there. Anyway, lift that up. Yeah, I'll be very happy once this all gets covered over and drilled over. Now what we're going to do, usually I would line up the press with the ridge marker there, but because we're overlapping it, we're going to kind of go onto that left wheel. Ridge marker down again. Excellent stuff. And yeah, we're just going to keep that left wheel on there. That's going to overlap it and set us off nicely for the next couple of passes. And we'll be able to get this all covered off very well indeed. But aside from that, today, this is it really. We just got to get this done and then get the roller out. By the time we get this field and the field over there rolled, we should be looking good to go back and check in the livestock. And yeah, that'll be us for the day. If you have any questions, comments or feedback, please do leave them down below. We're settling in with the new tractor very nicely indeed. Spend a lot of time in that at the moment there. Was tempted to take the front loader off there and stick the drill onto it, but I just thought we're already dialed in. GPS is already dialed in here, so it just seemed to make a little bit more sense. But yeah, we will start to use that more and more as we get going. But otherwise, we're all set. Not really much else to report. Won't be too far away until we're thinking about combining this, which is a crazy thought as it is, but a lot of baling to be done before that. But otherwise, this is it really. This is all we've got going on there. We're just going to finish this drilling up there. Just wanted to bring you an update to show you that we have finished drilling thus far, and give it another hour, we should all be wrapped up. So we will leave this here, and today we are finishing up what we started in a bit of a shorts video last week. Actually, we are selling the last of the beef stock. This is the last lot going out here. We got the last 8 Aberdeen Angus cattle in our trailer now, and we're going to take these away. We've been doing really well with our pricing. Got a really good weight on them as well. I'm really pleased with how this lot finished off actually, so they're looking very, very good. And it's time to send them to the maker really, to make sure we can get them off to they're going to be back on the shelves really as prime Aberdeen Angus beef, and yeah, looking good for another cycle. So this lot will be taken to the stores now, and then we're all pretty much set from there. Around we go. And yeah, so the idea is that we always bring in beef calves, Aberdeen Angus calves there to finish, and by finish we mean that we add weight onto them. We allow them to grow and to put on good muscle, but a little bit, you want a little bit of fat in there as well. And then when they're the adequate weight, they get shipped off to be sold, to be turned into beef for your kitchen tables. So we've had 45 this year, and it's been a good year actually. Haven't run into any issues or ailments along the way there, so we haven't hindered our finishing at all. But yeah, they're looking good. So being able to sell off at the moment for around about the £900 a head mark. We buy them in for a little bit over, or this year we bought them in a little bit over £300 a head. So we're doing all right. It's a good return on our investments there. So we'll take these away. And that provides one of our big injections of cash throughout the calendar year. Now, obviously, what we're trying to do as a farm here is provide as many of these cash injection points as we can throughout the year. So it doesn't mean that we're reliant upon one specific source of income. And we're getting a little bit better at doing that. We have a little bit more diversification from our garden plots. And we'll be seeing a lot more work around our hay, forage and fodder output as well, which we'll be able to sell across to the equine industry and also to other fellow farmers as well. But it's all coming, it's all working for us there. But just these kind of things take time, so you've just got to, as long as you're conscious and aware of that, the rest will follow. So yeah, that's the plan. We're going to get everything set up as we need to. It's been nice to have the new tractor on the cattle box actually, if only because it's just a lot smoother, a lot more power to get up the hill. It's a lot more comfortable ride actually. This is trip number 5, so yeah, it's a little bit more enjoyable for everybody really. And then we'll be good. Then we'll be all done and dusted. After this, we've got a little bit of rolling to do on our spring drilled barley, and that's looking pretty good though actually. I got that into some really nice conditions, and we're actually expecting a touch of rain there. Hopefully in the next week or so that'll really kick it on. But yeah, we'll have to get that done, and then we're flying really, and we're absolutely coasting along, which is great. Fantastic conditions there. The grass is growing. I think actually the way the grass is coming along, we might try and get some silage knocked off in the next week or two. We're gonna give it a little bit, like I say, some good sun out at the moment there, so when the sun is shining on the grass there, it improves the quality of the grass, increases the sugars there, which is what we want. We want to see that in our grass, especially when we're feeding it to our cattle. And the dairy cattle will love that, so that's what we need to focus on there. But we're going to go back into here now, and we'll tip this, and then we're I say tip this, we'll unload this, and then we're looking good really. Okay, so I will get this all unloaded there. I'll get all the paperwork done and sign off and hand over all the passports, etc., and then we should be good to go. And just like that, for the next probably I'd say next 3 months, the cattle shed's empty and they're all gone, and that's another, that load, that was just over about another 7,000, which is always good to see. So that goes a long way, like I say. All right, but we're looking good there. Ooh, let's not hit that stone with the new loader, that would suck. All right, and back we go. So now we're pretty much all set up there. Our crops are looking good. They're coming along well. We're going to have an agronomist come out soon just to double check, make sure there's nothing else we need to do or be prepared for in the coming weeks as they really start to kick on again in the spring here. But yeah, we should be okay there. Newly drilled crops, of course, are going to be a little bit behind, but they went into some good conditions anyway. So that'll be good once we get the roller out across those. And then, yeah, ultimately it's keeping the dairy cattle going there and getting ourselves lined up, ready to go for our forage work this season. So we're going to be, first, the priority is always going to be baling our own silage. We've got a little bit left over from last year, which is good. And we'll keep those where they are there for next season. And anything else we make, if we make too much there, we can always sell a little bit of it. But yeah, main aim will be to get the grass silage stood first. And then we could look into some potential for increasing our hay output as well. That's the next big step. Now for the rest of the day today, we're going to go and pick up a it's essentially like a rotavator mulcher, I guess, because we need to go and mulch over all of the sunflowers that are remaining in our wild bird fruit plot, because eventually we're going to be putting something else in there. So we want to make sure that is all, we want to mulch that in, work all that organic matter in there, so we're probably just going to direct drill. We might go for corn this time, put a bit of maize into there, but we just need to get rid of the currently standing and very much dead crop of sunflowers. So we need to go and pick up a mulcher for that, and then we'll get that work done this afternoon there. So we'll see how we get on with that. We might take the 54 for that one, but we'll see. Right now we're going to see if we can get this down the narrows here. In fact, no. Alright, we're just going to have to take this around the corner here a bit. There you go. So yeah, we don't actually have a drill that we can drill any maize with, or even sunflowers really. So we have to get a contractor in when they've got some spare time. But it doesn't need to be a good job. It just needs to establish so it can grow. Like I say, we're not trying to get a yield off here at all. It's simply just for our winter bird feeding. Now, I can stay there for now. Good lord, was I close there? Nailed it. Alright, so all the rest of the hay equipment's looking good. Mowers in the shed there, a little bit of servicing over to do on that before we get rolling with it, but we should be okay. Obviously this is brand new, and then our John Deere baler has returned, having been serviced over. We actually needed to have a couple of bearings replaced, one on the auger on there on that inside, and then a couple on the packer ram in there as well. So that's all been taken care of. Easier for someone else to do that, to be honest. Alright, so we're going to jump on into this. We'll let it take over for a little bit, and then yeah, we're going to go head off and pick up this mulcher that we've hopefully been able to hire and get the right thing in so we can make some progress. Well, alright folks, you've been here before with me many a times. We're just swinging on in to pick this thing up, and it should be fairly straightforward here for us. Okay, now which way do we need to pick this up from? I think that's the wrong way. We're gonna go, this is currently set up to be rear mounted. You can stick it on the front as well, but we don't have the front PTO, so that's not gonna be something we're gonna do. Okay, so yeah, idea is that we're just gonna reverse through our this big crop, get this all just mulched down there so we can get in there and stick something else in. But yeah, it worked out very well. I was very, very impressed with it. Whoa. That's heavy. I mean, it's less than ideal. Good lord, something there. We'll have to see if we've got a weight that we can borrow lying around the back there somewhere. I think that looks a little bit better. Fortunately, I had a weight that we could borrow with this as well. Otherwise, that would have sucked. Alright. Well. Oh, that door sounds a bit ropey. Anyway, off we go. So, we're just going to, like I say, we're going to beetle on down the road there, go and get this taken care of. Nice little bit of something different to do whilst it's good weather, and then we're on with the rolling, really. So we'll, lots to do today. It's going to be a good day, though. Good day indeed. Let me know how you're getting on with whatever you're doing as well. I would love to know. Always interested to see how each other's farms are cracking along there and where you're working and what you're getting into at the moment. Yeah, we are all certainly geared up now for what the spring and the summer's going to bring there. I'm very excited to start to really use the front loader on that new Massey. We've got our grassland on the new land is really coming along at the moment there. That's thriving now, especially after having quite a heavy load of slurry put onto it there. So we're looking very, very good as far as that is concerned. That's a heavy old block on the back. Good lord, is it? Now I wanted to go for something that was motorized here because we're going into a lot of material, a lot of stalks and things like that. So it just makes a little bit more sense to have that. And we'll see. So we're actually just going to cut back through the farm here, if only because we can get straight through the forest track there, and it's much better. So as you well know by this point, all of our grassland is organic. So when it comes to cutting anything down, we've got to be strategic about what we cut and when that gets slurry applied on there. We're trying to store up our slurry stores now from the dairy cattle. A lot of it's a service like dirty water really more than anything else, but it'll be good to stick it back onto the ground there. So what we're trying to do is be very strategic. Hey, that's a bit of a rise around where that goes. So for example, this field in here, which was a meadow field really, that we've slowly turned the quality of the grass around, we haven't put too much on here yet. But what we're going to do is when this gets cut, this will be the first field that gets some slurry applied onto it. And then this will get a little bit of silage cut off here, and it'll be straight on into hay for the rest of the season. Hopefully get one good cut of hay off there. That's the plan. I know, okay, like I say, we're going straight on in to this block about here without causing too much destruction, hopefully. And I fancy just reversing through all this, see how that works. It might work. We might have to go forward. We'll find out in a second. Oh, it's going to be a loud afternoon. Excellent. It's working. So as you can see, these sunflowers have been long overdue for harvest there. We should have been able to harvest these in the back end of the autumn last year. Obviously we didn't. We kept them there for feed for our wintering birds, which worked out quite well. And now we're just going to mulch them, and then we're going to drill probably some sunflowers or maize back in. I haven't decided. It all is really going to depend on what seed I can actually get a hold of. And then we'll stick it back in there. It provides a great habitat. Obviously some great feed options there, but also just good cover. Gives them a good bit of protection there from the elements and from any prey. So that's really good. A lot of feeding opportunities for both. I've seen a lot of pheasants in here. You see a lot of various different migratory birds as well, so that's fantastic. So it's really worked out very well. So we'll mulch this over there and we will re-establish it. Most of the heads have been picked clean at this point. Any of the seeds will remain on the ground there anyway, so birds can still scavenge around and find them. But I have been monitoring this, and there's a distinct lack of activity around here now, which clearly means they've moved on to other feed sources, wherever they may be. So we'll just keep monitoring it and see what we can do. But yeah, very, very pleased with it. Looking forward to establish a new crop onto here. Ooh, let's just slide that across a little bit there. We'll do it that way, I think. That's better. And we'll see how it goes. All right, we'll just stop that. Get that shut. We don't want any of these doors or windows open here. But let's go and have a peek outside. It's not doing such a bad job, actually. I think it's, as you can see, working everything over there, we'll be able to drill straight on into this, and we should be looking good. But yeah, being a good crop, looking pretty picked up now. Very happy with that. Doesn't cost me too much to establish it. We can apply for various different wildlife schemes that we have submitted for this year coming and beyond. So we just have to account for the amount of acreage that we're going to be putting this into, which we've done, and we should be looking good. So we'll have to see how that comes together. But ultimately, right now, we're just going to keep going with this, get this all wrapped up, looking nice and tidy, and then on with the rolls just to go and cover over that ground, and we'll see how we get on. Can you join us here today? Another cracking day, I must say. It's early April now. Gardens are looking good. Produce is being made. That's going to be shipped away very soon. Yeah, beef cattle shed is still empty. Gonna be empty for a few more months there yet. And yeah, we're looking good. The spring drilled crops, the oats and the barley that we put in there have already started to emerge through, and they've brought the weeds with them, so we're gonna have to get on there later on today and get a bit of herbicide put down. We haven't done that quite yet because it's a little bit too windy. You might be picking some of that up on the microphone right now, but essentially we just need to sit tight and wait for a little bit there. So the Massey 5470 is all ready to go, and we'll just hang tight. Hopefully we'll get the opportunity, and we'll be able to get going later on this afternoon. That's the plan, and we'll see. But otherwise, a bit of a slower day at the moment, catching up with a few little odds and ends. Got something that we're going to do later on, but first of all, I promised I was going to do a little job for somebody. So you'll see here we've hired this rather unique little planter, and we're going to be using this for the wild bird seed area that we had going last winter. We're going to drill some sunflowers back into there today. This is actually about a 4-meter planter, I think. If I take it actually extends out, but it's not ours. We just borrowed it for about 6 acres, and we'll get that back to them later on today or tomorrow. Doesn't have to go in too well, but it just has to go in the ground. So that's what we're aiming for there. So the new Massey's going to get a run out with that. But first of all, it is the little 90s big day out today. This is the first tractor of choice for the day. It's come off the feeder wagon. The Kin feeder's parked over there, having just fed up this morning. It's a lot easier and quicker to feed up this morning now because we've only got one set of cattle to do, which means that we're going to take this for a bit of a road trip. And then inside that road trip, we've got a little bit of a job to do. So we're going to get cracking with that. We've got the topper on the back here, and we're going to head over to onto the other side of the village where there is a little bit of a grass paddock really that we need to go and have a little bit of work in. It's something I do every year. I promised to the owners of the paddock there that we'll just knock it down for them just as it starts to grow. And actually going past it, I have often in the past made a few bales off it, but it's just little stalky dead grass today. So we're going to leave it be, and then we're just going to knock it over. It's only about maybe an acre at best, and we'll be able to just top that off and hopefully see some better grass coming into it. But I think if they're going to use it for anything, they have a half an hour of bringing a horse onto there. I think the grass quality is terrible, so I don't know what they're going to really use it for, but that's not my problem. All I'm here today to do is not hit the gate on the way out, is just go and knock this down nice and quickly there. So it's a bit of fun, bit of an easy job to do today. Everything's starting to grow quite quickly actually around here. We've seen some really good growing weather. We've had about 8 mil of rain in the last 3 days, so it's giving you something to get a bit of moisture in the ground there, which is good. A little bit more wouldn't hurt, if I'm being honest, but for right now this would be grand. And it's like I say, it just keeps me out of mischief really. And then yeah, I've got plenty of other little small jobs to do, but one of the main reasons I like to do that with this tractor is, one, it's nice and small and compact, but this only really gets used on the feeder wagon, around the yards, and then also in the we'll go next bit up there, on the baler. Now I think all well and good it's going to be back on the baler, or at least the tedder, in the summer, but this just gives me a bit of a chance to run it a bit more consistently at higher revs there, aside from what we do with the feeder wagon. Make sure everything else mechanically is good, get it into top gear, get the engine running over there a little bit more, get the gearbox firing through, and just see how we're going. So yeah, like I say, not a huge field by any stretch, but give me something to do, something a little bit different there. Yeah, this tractor could, all being said, still have quite an important part to play this summer. But we'll see how we go. Also potentially going to stick the baler onto the onto the small of the two Masseys, but we'll see. All right, that's fired away. One thing I do know that works effortlessly on this tractor is the PTO. Like I said, that gets used pretty much on the daily. But yeah, let's just have a drive through here and see how we get on. Like I say, very stalky grass. There's not much to it at all. Not really good for anything. So it'll just take a bit of a pounding, and then we'll be all good. Like I say, otherwise everything else is looking good really. What we might do in the next episode, a little bit of a wet spot there I think. What we might do in the next episode there is just going to have a bit of a look at the quality of the grass that's coming through. and see if we are see how it looks, see what we reckon to it. I'm quite proud and pleased with how the spring oats are coming through. I must say that's starting to look very, very good indeed. All right, and around the corner we go. This actually seems to be more grass there than you might think. Ooh, easy, there's 3. Have to see how that looks when we finish it. But yeah, like I said, it's been really strong growing conditions of late there. So it's always interesting to see how the better the grass is growing through there, see how thick it is. It bodes well if my first got silage grounds like this as well. We'll probably end up making quite a bit before we turn our attention to hay. But yeah, we're just going to keep cracking on. We'll get a few headlands over this. Won't be too much left to do by the time we've done that. And then we'll see what the rest of this field looks like once we get it all knocked out. Well, alright, we're just down to the tiniest little bit in the middle now, and it's alright. That's not taking too long here. Got the feet warmed up a little bit. And yeah, we'll be all looking good. So it's like I say, more grass in here than I thought we were going to see, which is alright, but still, it's not good quality this time around. If we were to do anything with it, desperately would need a reseed, but then it's only just a small pasture, so whether they put horses on here or stick trees in it or whatever they do, it'll be put to some use somewhere. Yeah, nice and dry underfoot, which is really good, not making any mess on the hillside here. And we'll just leave this grass to slowly rot away and decompose really, and put some organic matter back into the soil. But otherwise, just a couple more passes and we'll be all good and done. And then it's off to go and try our hand with a bit of planting, really. It's not really something that we've done too much of before. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, we're just going to wing it. It doesn't need to be, we're not worried about the yield there. Effectively, it's just going to be for cover and for winter feed and for birds. So how it looks, how it yields, don't really care. But yeah, it's a good little thing to do there. And it's, yeah, happy to be able to add that bit back in really for the local fauna, and yeah, we'll see how it's all come together. Do let us know what you get up to. A time of the year where we're kind of getting ready for a few different bits and pieces, a few other jobs around the farm, but do let me know what you're cracking along with at the moment. I'm always intrigued to know. We are, like I say, beef did very well. I think we reported on that last time around, really brought you all up to speed with that. There's some good strong beef prices there. Looking to get the pigs away in the next 3 weeks, I think. Not all of them, because we do stagger our ages there. So we've got about half the group are about a year to 15 months younger. So we have to get them in to sort them out, to pick out the ones that we want to send away to the abattoir there. But yeah, that's another job to do. And we're looking to see how that's going. But yeah, with this, we'll just nick back and get that little chunk there. And that's just as good as done. Look at that. Happy days. Alright then. Missed a little bit there, but it'll be okay. And we're off. So we'll take this back out and over to the yard. The massey is all ready to go pretty much. Got a little bit of seed in there as well. You can lay it back on. And away we go. In top gear and we're off. Cracking little tractor this one actually. When you get it going properly there, it's absolutely superb. It's everything that we need without a hitch. Never really gets asked to do too much, but it's always nice to know that we can stick it onto the small little jobs around the place. Get it all tied up here. Once upon a time, this would have been one of the major players on the farm here. But it's nice to know it's still got a place. And really, like, I'm not to touch this with a spanner in I don't know how long. Aside from an oil change of service every year, which will probably get actually in before we start harvest. I'll get a good check over if nothing else. And then we'll just sling it into the shed for now. Bring out the massey there, and we'll go and have a bit of a dabble and see see what that looks like. That mass does look pretty good though. Lovely job. Excellent stuff. All right, well, we've got a few bits and pieces we need, and then we'll go for a bit of a cruise over and have a look at what we're doing. All right, so as you can see, as we drive through our meadow fields here, the grass is really starting to look quite good in here, actually. Really cracked on in the last couple of weeks, so we might actually look to get a bit of first cut silage off there, because it's really starting to look very good indeed. As is our field of winter oilseed rapier. Now, I think we might actually have to just flatten a bit as we get around this gate post here. It's shot on. As we try and creep around the corner, it's absolutely cracked along recently, which is great to see. So looking really, really good actually. What we'll do right now, we've just already unfolded out the drill. Let's have a bit of a look. So you can see this is how all the previous crop mulch down there did really well actually. Missed a few bits. I think the tractor tires flattened actually, and didn't come back up properly until now, but never mind, I don't care too much. Lots of nice organic matter there though, just to keep cover the ground, keep a bit of moisture in there more than anything else. And we'll see. As for, yeah, the oilseed rape's starting to look really, really good actually. It's really kicked on there. It's added about 6 inches in height recently, and I'm very happy with how that's looking. So that was direct drilled if you recall, and it's looking good for it. So we'll see how we get on with that. Here though, we're sticking some sunflowers into the ground, like I say. So let's just well, we'll go for it really. Just a little bit of direct drilling. See how we go. Now I want to make sure it's linked into the computer there. I just need to find it and make sure it's all looking good. Excellent. I think we're looking good there. Lower down the front loader. Perfect. Okay, so in a way, we go. We're off. Excellent stuff. So like I say, we're just going to drill this in. Let's try and get a bit of a marker down here. There it goes. Wham. I think we're looking at around about 6 meters actually, not the original 4.5 meters like I thought, but hey, it just means we get it done even quicker. And then yeah, that's going to be this field done, just so we don't even have to look at it or think about it moving forward. And we'll do this all again next year, I think. So really looking forward, looking to get some experts in just to see if we have any more activities from different species. Get out the shop, but I'm not quite sure. But yeah, that is going to be the plan, and I think it's going to work well. So we'll see how it gets on, and we'll keep you along for the ride anyway. Everything's starting to grow. We are in April now. Everything's looking really good for it as well, and won't be too long until the mowers are coming out, I don't think. So that's going to be exciting. Like I said before, do mention down below, drop me a comment if you are progressing nicely on your farm. Let me know what you're getting up to, and we will see you all later on for the next episode. Can you join us today as we are cracking along really? We've just sold another load of produce off from the garden now, which is great to see. We've got a few small little things to do around the yard really today. We're going to start actually getting ready for some very early silage. It's not going to be this not going to be starting mowing today. We are in the middle of April there now, but we might well be looking in another week or so that we're going to be good to go. So we're going to start by putting the mower onto the tractor. We're just going to check it over there, make sure everything's looking good and all serviced up and greased up, ready to roll. But really, we're not too far away at all there, which is quite a thought really. So that's fantastic to see. We have some spraying to do today as well for the spring drilled crops there. There's a little bit of a brome coming through. I think it's a brome again, unfortunately. But we'll have to see. There's a few weeds coming through there, a few thistles in places as well, and we just want to get on top of that now before it gets too outrageous, particularly in the larger field that we drilled actually, which is a slight surprise, but yeah, that's where it is. That's what we need to look into anyway, and that's exactly what we shall do. We're just going to park this in here. Hello to you. But yeah, otherwise we are all cracking along really. We were looking, weighing some of the pigs yesterday to see if they're ready to go. They're a little bit on the light side still, so we're not going to get rid of them just yet. That will be a job for another day, and we will look into taking those to market when they're fit and ready to go. Now, for right now, You know what? We'll just leave this out here. Just gonna be. We'll stick it into the garden now. We're gonna leave it there. That'll be easier, and we can always worry about it later on. But yeah, otherwise everything else is good, really. We've had a little bit of rain since we finished drilling, even since we finished drilling the sunflower plot as well. So everything's looking good there, which I'm happy about. I'm just gonna take it around and through here. Lovely stuff. And we'll stop there. Excellent stuff. But yeah, otherwise everything's good. There's a bit more produce that could go away soon, but we'll have to get onto that at some stage. And I'm happy with how everything's coming together, actually. Really, really pleased that it's all looking very good indeed. We're going to wait for the spraying just a little bit, though. Let this breeze disappear a little bit there. But otherwise, we're all good to go. Everything's mixed up and ready. Dairy cattle are doing well. They're quite happy and pleasant there. Yeah, so what I thought we'd do... just open up this here door as well. Up it goes. Is try and work our way in to pick up this, and if we can get that out, I have to do a bit of folding up there. If we can get that out, then we will. We're gonna get cracking. So just give everything a bit of a once over there, really. There's gonna be a bit of silage made, like I say, maybe a week or so's time. We'll be starting with the meadow, because that's really common actually there. So that needs to be tamed a little bit. What I need to do, take that off. Yes, that's gonna be tamed back a little bit there, and then we'll get a cut of hay off that after it. And then yeah, we're certainly gonna start with that. Just get it open, and then we can see how everything else gets on. Bit of land around here that we could look into doing, which is looking pretty healthy for itself as well. So we've got plenty of ground to go at, like I said. And then hay is really going to be where we're going to have to focus after that, because we're still carrying a bit of fodder over from last year, but we want to make a bit more there. That's always going to be the key. Now, question is, everything that's in this shed, do I have the abilities to creep around this corner here? And there you go. Quite a nimble little machine. As you can see, 5470 is already hooked up to the sprayer, ready to go. We should do, are we far enough back there? I think we'll be good. Okie dokie, just go onto that. Excellent stuff. So back in safety first. Got to turn everything off though when you're on working on the back end there. What we do need to do though, gently maybe just pull ourselves away from the combiner shade. There you go. Out we go. Happy days, just like that. So we'll just grease this out in the yard here. We'll get this all checked over. Like I say, it went away in good condition, so there's no reason why it shouldn't be able to fire up straight away there and have no issues or nothing that we need to immediately jump on to repair. Just gonna fold that down around there. Fantastic stuff. Leave it there for now. I've even thought about seeing what the possibilities would be to pick up something new to go on the front there. There's a big dispersal sale not long ago, but the price of a good quality mowers on the front aren't cheap at the moment, so decided against it for now. But yeah, it's something that we'll keep an eye on. I think we're just gonna shut all these doors here. All right, so we've had a quick run around. Everything's looking good. So what we'll do, we just point this all away from the catalyst. If there anything does come flying off there, it's going to go towards the bales in the corner, which I don't think it will. Everything looks like it's tight as a drum. And alright then. Kick the revs up there a little bit. Oh, she's sounding sweet. Look at that. Fantastic stuff. Excellent stuff. All right, well, we're just gonna fold that up. I'm gonna fold this up here, and then I can probably leave that for now. I won't put the user into here in a bit. But yeah, first step done. First bit of equipment is looking good, which I'm happy about. So we're good to move on there, I think. All right. Let us know as well, have you started looking into doing this for yourself there? Are you nearly ready to start getting on with your grass work? Or what does that look like for you? We're going to go out and do a bit of spraying now. What else we can get cracking along? I think it's going to be a good time for us to get it done. And yeah, just to kind of tick this off the list really. It is the bigger field that we have. It's going to take a couple of returns back to the yard here to fill up, I should imagine. If my calibration is correct, but we will see. It's nice to get it done now whilst we can kind of nip everything in the bud there, stop it from going too extreme and really crippling our yield. There is a bit of an underlying issue here, particularly with brome, as I've mentioned a few times there, and also with a few of the weeds that I'm looking just to try and get rid of, because I want that out as we do start to venture towards into more of a organic rotation here, particularly for our grassland. I want that gone. And I want that gone from our farmland as well when we start to think about taking the arable ground and turning that into an organic rotation too. But these are all things that will come eventually. It's just not quite there yet. But anyway, nice day to get out here and out and about and get it done. Really after that though, we're in a bit of a lull really. We've finished all of our field work for the autumn. The spring, beg your pardon there. We're not quite into the harvest work for our hay and for our silage. So the cattle are all looking good. Beef cattle have gone. Like I say, the pigs aren't quite ready, so we're a little bit disappointed they haven't finished out quite so quickly. So we'll have to hold on to those and see if we can change that around. But otherwise, we're just looking good. We're just going to slow down here and see. Everything's looking good over there. Oh, see, grapes really kicking along actually. Grassland starting, you can see the benefits of that slurry being put onto there as well. That's really starting to kick in actually. Very pleased with that. And then yeah, we are away. Even this field here, ooh, I'm all over the verge. This field here is looking rather good for itself as well. Winter drilled barley, coming on leaps and bounds. There's a couple of weeds in there which I think we just might not have had the calibration quite right on the GPS there, but otherwise it's looking fairly good, fairly clean. This field to our left here, interestingly, doesn't have too much in it at all. There's a little bit in the tram lines there, so we'll have to spray that off as well just to stop that from spreading anywhere. But yeah, it's just in the tram lines, just curious. Yeah, I mean that crop there looks fantastic now. Really does. It's even. That's probably only about another month away from starting to turn actually, which is incredible to think, but it's really ahead of itself. A very warm, mild to start, but very warm spring actually, which is really kind of advancing these crops on and getting a lot of growth in there. Still a bit of rain, which you always want, but yeah, everything's really growing and coming on top drums there now, so that's fantastic. Really pleased with that. Okay, and let's just stop you about here. Excellent. Before we go anywhere, it is a very smart looking tractor actually. It looks grand on this. It really does. I'm very pleased with this, with how this has been maintained actually. But as you can see as we walk through here, it's just starting to kick out a little bit here actually. There's quite a covering across the field. This is really left on actually. A few dock leaves in there as well that we're going to get rid of. So we'll get it before it gets it's away and it'll start to spoil the yield, but also and get stuck on in with the with the straw as well, which we don't want, and keep that straw, the crop very green still when we're ready to harvest it, so we don't want that at all. Don't want doors and windows shut properly. There you go. Alright, and we're away, folks. There you are. Let's turn off my beacon. And that, I think, folks, that is going to be us. So we are just ticking along very nicely there. It's a bit of a carpet of a field about you, this, actually. I'm really pleased with it. Just look to maybe lower that down a little bit. Awesome, and we're flying. It gets very patchy in place, actually, quite heavily, quite dense in areas. So we want to be on top of this. But we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll keep working through, and we should be looking good. And hopefully, next time you come back and join us, we'll be in a position where we're starting to get a bit of early silage knockdown there. So do stay tuned for that one, and we'll bring you along for the ride as we always do. Well, you joined me this morning as we have just been checking over all of the rakes, or the blades on the rake here, making sure everything's greased up and looking ready to go, because silage season is upon us. The mower is all serviced up. We did that in the end of the last episode there, and now, for now, we're going to hook on the baler, so that's going to be equally as exciting. We are about to go out there in about an hour's time or so, and we're going to start to mow some silage down here on the farm. We are going to do this field here first, see how it looks, see what we can, what the yield's looking like from it there, and then we'll make a decision how many more around the farm we're going to do. Our thought process is that maybe we can get ahead a little bit here, and maybe we can start by getting a few fields cut nice and early, getting some slurry put onto them, and then being able to really crack along and hopefully get a good second cut off there as well. That, or at least that is the plan. So we're going to be starting this morning. We'll get this cut down. All being well, it looks like it's going to be a good drying day actually. So we'll leave it, and we'll be able to make a bit more sense of it there tomorrow. So hopefully, if we can get the contractor around in time there tomorrow afternoon, we could be baling and wrapping our silage up. Right now though, we just need to make sure the baler's all looking good. Hook it up, out of the way, run it over, and make sure everything's looking in good working order. And yeah, we're all ready to go. So that's gonna be really exciting. Let's shift this fertilizer spinner out the way first though, and then we'll be handy. The little Fiat, depending upon how big the rows come through there, the little Fiat will stick that out ahead, and we'll just get everything swapped through it 2 into 1 as we usually do. That baler can handle probably a little bit more than that, but just we'd like to, there's no need to really overwork it there when we're just doing a few smaller fields, and we'll see how it goes there. But that is that's going to be an interesting review really tomorrow to see what that looks like. Now where am I going to stick this out the way? For now we might just try and squeeze it down this side where we can, but that's not going to work. So we have to do a little bit more shuffling around somewhere, and we'll just stick this through past the trailers here and stick it into the shed for now out of the way. You'll see the shed here still has a few bales of straw in there and a few bales of hay as well, but nothing too much. So what we'll look to do where we can is add in maybe another 25-30 round bales of hay here, and then that will see us through. What we'll ideally like to see moving forward, there will be plenty more coming through for square bales hay, for haylage that we're going, or for hay for horses, sorry, equestrian hay there. That's going to be the plan. The more hay we can make for the equine industry, the better. That's what our focus is going to be on there, and that's how we're going to look to try and strive to increase our diversification and our revenue across the farm. The other method that we have, of course, is the garden plots over there, which are doing pretty well. Now that it's warming up and it's consistently staying around 12 to 20 degrees there, it's, you know, we're seeing 13, 14, 15 degrees as a pretty a steady temperature. We're starting to see a really large uptick in the amount of production there, which is fantastic, and that's exactly what we were hoping for really. But we need a little to be able to stagger out our income. We don't see too much coming up from there through the winter months, so if we can sell hay to the equine industry throughout the winter, then, you know, that's a good way to go. That's what we're going to be looking for. But yeah, that's the plan. quite how it will work, I think, remains to be seen, and we're going to have to look into it in a bit more detail there, but that is certainly what the plan is looking like. What we'll do right now is just stick this down here, because eventually we have to put a bit more diesel in the tractor. And we'll just park this up here. Now, I was actually looking to see if I could get myself a bale wrapper. Just something small so we could do all of the work ourselves, really, so we didn't have to rely on anybody else there. And I found one that I went to have a look at. Unfortunately, it was just a bit too small. It wouldn't fit the bales that we're looking to bale. So we'll continue to look. With bale wrappers, I found that if you go too old there, they become very rackety and are pretty much all worn through, so you spend more time repairing and replacing things. So decided against that for the now. This baler, when we finished last season on the straw there, we did blow it down and make sure there was nothing loose in there. We don't wash the insides of it because we don't want to leave any water in any of the belts or on the bearings there, but it was all blown off there. We made a list of anything that needs to be changed. It's only about 2.5 years old with us though, so it's pretty much in good condition there. So we're just gonna fire it up here and see how it sounds. Don't hear any nasty bearing sounds there. Nope. Everything's looking good. Wonderful. Excellent stuff. So, what we'll do, we're going to just get this all greased up again. Check it over, put some net wrap in there so we're all looking good. And then we're off and out to the races in the new Massey with the mower on. So this is the field we're going to come into, ladies and gentlemen. There, it's looking pretty decent, actually. Not too bad. We don't get too close to this edge. It's a bit wet in that corner there where that French drain is still doing its thing, because there is a little spring that still bubbles up over here. But for the most part, the field is looking good. We're actually going to have one of the drone nerds from the village come over and do a little bit of recording for us there, which is going to be pretty awesome. So we'll be able to stitch some of that in to see what we're looking like as we work away from above. But yeah, you can see there's still a bit of water trickling out the side somewhere. So we'll not get too close to that. The rest of the field though is fantastic, really is. So I'm looking forward to getting this going. This is the first time we'll be using the new machine. Once we've finished knocking everything down, the mower will come off, the loader will go on there, and it's going to be on carton duties really. So we'll have to see how it handles all of that. And yeah, let's get ourselves ready to go really. I think everything else is all grand. Excellent. Alright, let's get ourselves away. Just watch the roof over there though. Alright, we're through. And off we go. So yeah, we are going to do everything around the farm here is going to be first cut silage at some stage. Then we'll look to get as much slurry out onto it as we can. Give it about 5 weeks or so, maybe 6 weeks to grow through and see what it's looking like. If the weather's looking good, I want all of this cut again. We still have a bit of silage left over there, so we'll probably all go into hay. And also all of the new ground as well will go into at least one cut of hay. And we'll see what the rest of it looks like. Maybe we'll have to do a little bit of wrap bales over there as well, that we can possibly look into breaking down and baling into square bale haylage at some point. I'm not sure what that's going to look like just yet, but we will cross that bridge later on. But for now, certainly, down it goes, and we're looking okay. So for the first time, what we'll do here is just fire this up. Add some reps onto it. Just listen to that sound. Sounds tight as a drum, doesn't it? It's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Alright then, and then we're away. It's going to take our time going through these first couple of rounds. Not, like I say, not get too close. We won't do a back swath the other way there because there's a lot of gateways here full of stones, and that bit's all a bit too rough on the side there. So this will be as close as we get to the fence there, I reckon, but it'll do. It'll be fine. Tractors are singing along, to be honest. That sounds absolutely perfect. And what I'm finding already, actually, because that bit's notoriously bumpy along the side, that it's very smooth. Really a lot smoother than it was in the 54.70, and I honestly don't think we'd usually go this quickly either. He says that as his cruise control stops working. There we go. Must watch out for that sheep trough there as well. That could cause some untold damage if I go flying into that. Hopefully we won't. But yeah, otherwise everything else is looking really, really good. I'm very, very pleased with how it's feeling so far, and we've got some good speed up here as well. Really are cruising along. Won't take too long to do this at all, and it looks like a pretty decent spot behind us there as well, actually. We'll have to see how that continues along there. There's a cracking leather jacket and a cowboy hat. Excellent work. There is a footpath through here. That's where they're all walking to. Then you see some great gallop every day. And yeah, what we'll do is, because it gets a bit wet in that corner there, we'll just skim it across the front there, miss all of that out, and into the second headland we go. So we're just going to take our time around these corners here so we don't miss too much. And then, yeah, 5 times around should be enough for us because we're just baling it. And it's me on the baler and I don't mind 5 times. And then we'll see how we're getting on. This corner's going to be a little tighter. Yeah, we're looking pretty good. If it stays at this speed and this lick there, we'll be able to knock down quite a few of these fields with relative ease, actually. That should be pretty good to see. Still desperately got to watch out for that. The next headland, we'll do 2 on either side, actually, I think, just to give ourselves some space. Excellent. So I do hope you are all doing very well. If you're cracking on with your own silage there, of course, do let us know how it's going and what your setup is. This is kind of all that we wanted. I do really want to get my own wrapper, if anything, because I want to be self-sustainable, but also be able to offer out work to some other farmers if they need it. I think that would be really, really good for us just to be able to do that. And a few people nearby who would be interested, I think, but you know, I don't have the full setup at the moment there, so maybe that's something we look into. But yeah, just gotta find the right option at the right price. At the moment, I just haven't found that. But yeah, it's an ongoing option. I do need to try and figure out if my regular contractor is going to be free to come in and do this, because I do know that he wasn't ready yet, and he's got a few bigger jobs coming up soon. I've got another option a little bit further afield, but they might be able to get in there and do something as well. So I guess we'll have to see. And see if that's going to work out. But I've got a few phone calls to make this afternoon once we know how much we're going to be knocking down here and what those next steps look like. Now for this headland, I think I'm just going to swerve to the left. We'll leave all that until the next one. I haven't been sheep in this field in an absolute age. Should really get those moved. Yeah, nice smooth ride. There's a little bit of a rough field in this top corner here, and the tractor is gliding over everything right now. Really, really impressed. But what we'll do, we're going to keep pushing through here, get this headland done, and then the drone node will apparently arrive shortly. He's going to keep checking by to see if we'll go in there and get some good aerial shots. I think he does aerial photography for a few different people. And yeah, we'll see what that looks like. So hopefully we'll get something good coming up. Alright, and so the headlands are done. We're back in here. We're just putting our first cut through the middle. I'm quite impressed with how much we have on here actually there. It's really really quite something, which is good, which means that we can get this off. We'll get a fair few bales off here, and we'll, the fewer silage bales we'll have to make after this. We can put as much into hay as possible. What we're going to do now though is just kind of get our first cut in, like I say, and then let's see how it's all coming together. I don't think I was too far off there. Looks pretty straight for me. Not using the GPS on here really, so we're just going off it by eye, and well, I think it's been alright. We'll live with that, that's for sure. And we will crack on. This field, like I say, it's quite dry and good drying weather today. Good breeze, nice bit of sunshine out there, so we'll leave it on the deck for today, not touch it, and then we'll rake it up in the morning. And probably get after it tomorrow afternoon, I think. Just got to make those phone calls to see if we can get a rake man, or a wrapper man, sorry. And then we're fully going silage there. So it should be really interesting to see how we get on. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Tenant Farmer. My name is David, and today we are starting silage. We've got everything that's raked up. It's in the swath ready to go there. We're just waiting for a little bit of the dampness to leave this morning, and then we're gonna get going. So the motor's coming off whilst we wait. We're gonna stick the front loader on. Bale trailer's ready to go as well. And boy, do we have a bit of a surprise for today's mission, really. We were left a little bit in the high and the dry by a local contractor whose bale wrapper wasn't anywhere near ready to go, and also they were out lifting silage somewhere else today. So they're not able to help me, which means I had to resort to a plan B. As we get this all hooked up here, there you go, looking good. We're going to walk you through what that plan B is. Now fortunately, I have a young family member, a young nephew of mine, who is looking to find a way to get into a little bit of agricultural contracting there. So he's been started for a while. He left college maybe about 4 years ago. He's been doing bits and pieces, has his own tractor, has his own a few little bits and things, and he's been able to source something that helps out today, which is quite frankly a bit of a lifesaver, really. Oh lord, does that ever get tight around there. He has got that beastly McCormick just over there that we're gonna have a look into at the moment, and then he has been able to find a bale wrapper, which means that we can crack on today regardless. We can get everything covered, get everything picked up. We've only got 2 fields down, just making a slower start really, but it's going to allow us to get going, and also to get everything wrapped and stacked hopefully within the same kind of period, which should be fantastic. It's exactly what we need to do, and without him really I would have been a bit stuck. So I'm very appreciative of the young man. Now he's currently just going over to see the family, just pop his head and say hello. He came a little bit early there, so he has got time, but it just means I can get everything set up here and we can get firing. The bale is all ready to go there. We finished with the rake. The Fiat did a grand job on that. You may have seen a little video I put out on that just the other day there, but everything raked up, an absolute treat. But wait until you hear the sound on that McCormick. He's put a straight pipe on it. It sounds absolutely menacing, to be honest. But we're going to leave this about here for now, because obviously we don't quite need you yet. So we are baling. Well, it's not really much at all. Maybe if we've got 15 acres there, we're doing well. But it's first cut to get out of the way. It's still very early, late spring really. So we've got plenty of time, early April here, and we were able to. We're going to try and get just this area here stacked and filled, so that should be good. And then it'll mean that we can get some slurry out there and get the second cut ready to go. Yeah, I am very much of the opinion that this is going to be just a nice little test really. See how we get on. Plenty to run at. Everything should be singing along really from the machinery standpoint there, so we shouldn't really have any significant issues, but it'd just be nice to get going and to at least make a dent. And then we know, based on how much we get on this, just how much we're going to need for our for second cut, or of the rest of the first cut grass, how much we need to put into silage and how much we can put into hay, and really get cracking along with that side of things. So yeah, this could work out well for us. Once again, 5470 has the baler on the back, looking fine, absolutely cracking along. Round the corner. And we are off. Do let me know if you started on yours at all anywhere, and let me know how it's going as well. But yeah, just check out this old McCormick here. This is quite old. It's in immaculate condition, really is. And young nephew there is just trying to get a bit more work. He doesn't usually operate too close to us, which is why we've never used him before, and he's slowly building up his machinery as well. So what I'm hoping is that sooner rather than later there, we'll be able to get in to do a lot more of the work that we can't do ourselves there. So we need the heavy tillage there. But just a fantastic looking McCormick there. Really, really is indeed. As for the ground itself, this has been raked up. We put 3 rows into one here. Depending upon how accurate I was with the mower, some of these will be around about 20 foot-ish, 22 foot swaths maybe. It's an 8-foot mower there, but it's I don't ever think I was actually going to full capacity apart from the first headland. So yeah, I'd say around about the 20 foot. So it should be plenty enough for the balers to get through and through. And we'll see how that goes. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what we get off of here really. And all being well, it should provide us with ample amounts of bales there. We'll get them all wrapped up today. Whether or not we get them all cleared out today, I don't know. But we'll just see how we get going anyway. First thing I'm going to do is just get myself set up there, and we'll wait for the wrapper man to arrive. And then we can be good to get rolling. Well then, I think we are all good to go. You might not be able to hear me over the roar of that straight pipe there, but I think we're all looking good. We just got ourselves in, and we're going to see how we get on. But Lord, is it loud. All right, so let's get myself into B and 2. That should be sufficient. Yeah, the absolute roar from that machine is incredible there, but we're underway anyway there. We'll see how we get on. Quite a thick swath here, so we are not able to get to go too quickly with it. There goes the wrap. There we are, we're all wrapped up. And there goes our first bale. Fantastic stuff. So let's just have a quick look, make sure we're all looking good there before we proceed too far. Doesn't look all too bad. I'm happy with that. It seems like a fairly dense bale. We can make that work. All right then. So as I think I mentioned recently as well, I would like to at some point get my own wrapper, perhaps even one day maybe a baler wrapper combo. But yeah, for now that's just not something that's on the radar really in terms of cost. And if I know that my nephew here can actually help us out and get to that level, then I'm more than willing to do that really. If he's willing to make that traveling distance, then if we can really try to establish some sort of some kind of business model, then that might be an option for us. Any second now, we're gonna get another beep. All right, I'm just a little bit slow doing this at the moment. I think that's second bale in. We'll get used to it and sped up a little bit more there. But for right now, anyway, main thing is that we're going. It's said to be fantastic weather for the day there. Not too concerned about that at all. And we should really be able to clear this up. I would love to know what you think will be our total bale tally for the day. Certainly, yeah, if I could think that we would get something in the region of 4 to 5 bales to the acre, I would be thrilled. Will we get to that? I'm not sure. But let me know what you think we can probably reach to. But certainly this first headland here is doing pretty well. There goes the wrap again, and we're on to three bales here already. And we'll have to see. Otherwise, though, what we may well do is just look to get the drone up here for a little bit. The guy from the village is coming over once again, which is what we always like to see. And yeah, now we're getting into a bit more of a rhythm and a routine, and off we go. Weird that there's a bit of a line here where the mower didn't quite work out properly. I think that's to do with an old drain line that's in there. I'd have to check the maps and the plans, but that's certainly what I think it is. All right. Well, it's not a bad looking setup really, is it? Obviously we can get everything cleared up with the new master pretty quickly as well there, but ultimately I am liking what we're seeing here. We will just get back on in. And away we go. Perfect. So we're nearly wrapping up the first headland here. Everything is, you know, a few teething issues here and there, but we're looks like for the most part we're doing well. Wraps coming on again. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bales. I think there might be one behind the pillar that I can't see that, but 5 bales so far. Could be okay for us. We'll have to wait and see there though. It is quite a, because it's 3 rows into one here, it is a lot thicker than I anticipated, so that in terms of the swath, so we're not quite getting to clear through as much ground in one hit, but you know, I guess that's good news. We are clearing everything off. We're getting this field done. It's all wrapped up as well, so ideally I would like to get them out the field on the same day, get them stacked up there so you don't move them more than once, and then we can get some slurry out here perhaps tomorrow. But yeah, we'll see. I still have an idea that we might look to get a bit more knocked down tomorrow there and just see what that looks like for us as well. But right now, we're doing okay. Looks like some good looking bales. That wrapper's good. I don't know if that's actually his or not, or if he's just easy does it. Bit more maybe that. There you go. That's us. But yeah, like I said, I don't know if this is his wrapper or not, but it might be new, so who knows there. But yeah, lovely old McCormick there. It's got about 4,500 hours on the clock, so really not too many at all for the age of the thing. But yeah, he's looked after that very, very well, and hopefully that will continue. Only I know it's very hard to get into farming these days there, so he's doing everything he can to find a little bit of an inlet and contracting there and taking up bits of work here and there and building a bit of reputation. Seems to be one of the more accurate and reliable ways to do it these days, because you can't rely on finding tenancies or land, unfortunately. It's just very, very difficult. But yeah, that is his plan. That's his business model at the moment there, and if we can help him out anyway, then absolutely we're going to. Alright, this one got a little tight in this here corner. Beautiful, lovely looking machine. You know what, we're just gonna take that one. All right, so yeah, we'll get this all finished up here, and then we'll bring next episode there. We'll bring you the update of how many bales we've got, how the stacking's going, what the next plan is. Are we going to jump straight into a little bit more? Do we need to jump into a little bit more? Can we even just look into getting some hay started here as well? So that should be rather exciting to see. Let me know what you're up to as well. As always, very interested to know and to hear. Drop your predictions for the number of bales down below in the comments as well there, and we'll see who is right by the end of it all. I reckon at the moment, given what I've seen so far, we might be looking for about 27 bales all in, I think, but we'll see. Hopefully more. It's a beautiful evening. The sun is still shining. It's still nice and warm, and we have been to a machinery dealer. And wow, a few things just happened there that I was not expecting, and we're going to learn more about that in the next week or so. Not too much I can tell you yet. I'm gonna keep it as a bit of a surprise. What I can tell you is that I was actually away to get someone to come and give me an evaluation on my combination drill. And that is something that's still going to be happening there. We are looking to sell that. So I went there with that intention in mind. And then I saw a few shiny, nice bits of equipment floating around the yard there. And, well, things are happening. Despite the fact that I was insistent that we were done buying equipment for the year. Well, we're not. We'll have to see. It's going to be a real benefit for us this year and moving forward. But we'll have to cross that bridge when it comes. For now, though, like I say, we are just going to come back into the yard. Busy afternoon ahead of us, really, and into the evening there. You'll see as we drove past and have a better look at that. We got our first 2 fields of silage cut, baled, and wrapped, which was great. Now we need to get those brought in, really, and get them stacked up. So I'm just going to stick the landy into the shed here. A bit tight for space in here at the moment, but perhaps that might be changing soon. Maybe for the better, maybe for the worse. Alright, so, as I mentioned there, we were looking originally to, and we still are looking to trade this in, or sell this. And now, main reason we're doing that is because, yes, it's still a perfectly good combination drill, and it does work very well. However, we are looking to change our practices around here to be more minimum tillage, and we have a few ideas in mind. We're not going to be buying a drill anytime soon, certainly not this year. And I know I say that quite frequently about buying machinery, but drills are expensive, especially the type of drill we'd probably want. But we do have a contractor who has a lovely drill of his own there, and it's a lot bigger and a lot faster than the one that we use. So we will be contracting out our drilling, which would be good, and it's going to allow us to focus on a few different areas there. I mean, buying a new drill is expensive, and we don't have that many acres to put in at the moment there. So can't really justify the cost when you're floating around the 100-acre mark. It really doesn't make sense. So we've got plenty of other areas of opportunity that we can focus on, grassland being one, for example. So there's a few things going to happen here. I do believe we're going to get rid of this as well, probably just sling that into an auction somewhere. Because if we don't have a drill, I don't really need a front press either. But we'll see. So that is the plan. You'll see though, as we hop over here, we started to clear bales. There's 8 on that trailer. We're going to start stacking them up inside the yard here. 30 was our magic number across the board. So well done to anyone who guessed that. Quite happy that we did have a bit of slurry onto these fields. Nothing in this little field through here is, so that was a very nice surprise in and of itself. But over here, yeah, we put a bit on there. So for a first cut, we'll take it. We can get some more slurry onto deck pretty quickly, and we can move forward. These few bales here will get stacked over with the rest of them in the corner over there. These ones we're going to stack the yard, fill up the yard spot again there, and then we'll stack these elsewhere. So lots still to do. Obviously we've got the field over the wall there, we've got the meadow field behind the trees there to do as well, and of course the field on our ag block on the far side, and then we'll be able to focus on hay after that. So plenty of silage around here. Likely is we'll stack some of them down the road there as well to look to sell them at a later date. But yeah, I'm very pleased with that. Actually went in, got them baled up nice and quickly, nice and easily. Thanks to the nephew coming over with his beautiful McCormick to speed things along a little bit for us there. But yeah, now we get to use the new Massey in a bit more anger, really, and that's gonna be fun. This is a lot of work that we do with our loader tractor here is centered around cart and bales, so it's gonna be nice to be able to not hit that wall, and also, you know, put this into a bit of use. So it's very pleased with how it's all gone so far. Still a bit of time for us to crack on and get a bit more done there, of course, but we will we'll see how that goes. And then what I need to do is just think about where I'm gonna park this. Come peek around here. So that. Alright, so I think what we're going to try to do is maybe just shift this again, actually, and then do a little bit of reversing magic here. We should be golden. Like I said, it's lovely, lovely evening here. We actually had to take a bit of a last minute order of produce away as well to the local dealers, so that's been done. A little bit more money coming in there. But ultimately, after that, we're all looking really, really good. I'm very happy with the progress we're making of late here on the farm. It's really nice to get a good start with the first cut silage, and we can move on. We'll get probably a few loads done. Maybe we'll just get this 8 unloaded and then load up the trailer again. That should probably see us through for the evening. Yeah, just gotta test my old reversion skills here in a second. We'll see how that goes. And back we go. Would be nice if I had someone else here to drive, just so we could maybe stick this onto the other tractor there. But you know, I am a one-man operation 90% of the time here, so we'll just do what we can and just take it slow. As long as I don't either take out the fence or the Keenan, it'll be good. Looking good there though, folks. Perfect. All right, what we want to try and do is just poke this into the far end a little bit there, if we can, in towards the shed a bit, on an angle. Pretty much just like that. I've got about 3 feet if I need to go back, but I think that's going to do it there, really. A little bit awkward to get them in here, but it is really handy to have a good 20 bales or so here, just so we can feed up nice and quickly first thing. Alright. A lot of people are asking about how we got on with the Baling as well, and how nice that McCormick was. It was an absolute real godsend actually to get him to come over and help out with that, because we would have been struggling without it there, to be honest. Just too much for us to try and complete on our own there. So really nice to get the help of the nephew. And yeah, we're going to look to try and see if we can leverage his services a little bit more in the future as well. Easy does it. Just keep that a bit wide. Get that first one on without trying to damage anything anyway. So excellent stuff. All right, just about another 30 to go. We'll be all over this job. Let us know, like I say, always curious to know what we're all getting up to there, how it's all coming together with your farm, what you're working on. I've been hearing a couple of rumblings from one of the estate managers that there might be a few changes coming up soon to some of the estate management around here, which is of some concern. I don't think it'll directly affect the operation of the farm, but I'm worried about what it might be changing there, and if there is any effect in anything that we do here. So I'm gonna have to keep a close eye on what that looks like. I'll keep you abreast of any updates as and when we get them. But yeah, there's always a lot of focus on diversity and change, not only just in the farming, but just in general estate management these days, and it's something that I feel like might come back and bite us at some stage. I'm just hopeful that we can avoid a lot of that change there, but we'll have to see. Alright. I hope that bale on the floor is going to be alright. We'll have to try and get that out pretty quickly. There you go. We're finding the extent of the maneuverability here. It is a small yard, but we're doing a good enough job here. We're getting everything in. So we'll get these last few loads up here. Plenty of shuffling around left to do. And then we'll stick the trailer back on, jump out into the field there, and start all over again, I reckon. Alright, and folks, so the first load is all emptied off and stacked up in the yard. Because of the angle of this gateway, we do have to kind of reverse our way in to the right angle. Without causing too much damage to anyone's lawns. We should be good this way. We're going to get this one loaded up, and then we'll probably look to jump straight on to a bit of milking and also get dinner. And then we'll be good. But we've made a little bit of progress, and we've got a lot more to make. Guess us down below in the comments as to what the new equipment is that we have purchased. We should be seeing it arrive very soon. Next couple of days or so, I've been informed. They're just kind of doing a few checks over on some of it. It is used for the most part, so that is why it's going to take a little bit longer. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, that's for sure. Certainly something that we weren't expecting. Let's get that straightened up there. Alright, handbrake on. Let's go and disconnect. Happy days. Alright. And yeah, onwards. There'll be 3 loads in here, and then, as I mentioned there, that stuff over there, we're just going to stack up over the other side of the fence, really, so we'll not bother with the trailer for that. Then we're looking good. I had thought about looking into starting to cut some more grass tomorrow morning, However, it does seem like we're due for a storm. The weather is about to change for the worst, apparently. So we need to just kind of play that out and see how that looks. Forecasters are saying a lot of rain coming in. So we'll have to see just how bad that is. So that is, if it's as bad as they say, we're not going to be cutting any grass for a while. But, you know, take some of these weather forecasts with a grain of salt, really. And we will play it by ear tomorrow morning. And then if it's not as bad as they say, well, happy days. We'll get on with the grass cutting. But yeah, we'll have to see. It does look like it's going to be a fun old time. Quite windy apparently this evening. So, and welcome back to what's going to be a day all about cattle. However, before we get to that, I do need to go and drop off this tether behind me, and we need to discuss a small problem that I have at the moment. And I was adamant that we wouldn't be doing any more of this year. Very, very adamant that we wouldn't. My bank manager was adamant that we shouldn't be doing any more of this year. But things just fall into place sometimes, and it's just going to be the right opportunity and the right piece of equipment. So, with that, we're going to go and see our friends at Corsair Machinery, and we're going to figure out what that is, and you shall see in a matter of moments. So it is time for us to say goodbye to the Elho TR300. It's been a great little whittler for us. It's done a fantastic job. But like I say, something came along that I just couldn't really say no to, and well, many things came along actually. So it's time for us to do a bit of an upgrade. Bearing in mind what we're looking to do this summer, I think this is a perfect opportunity, and I think it's going to be something that's going to really allow us to benefit the farm in the long run. So they're over there now. This is quite funny how this came around, really. There's two different bits of equipment that we are about to pick up. The first is a tedder, and the second, as you can well see, is a rather shiny and smart looking pottinger rake. The tedder was an absolute steal. This is used, can you believe it or not? It doesn't look it, but it was. And it has quite a few seasons on there already. So the price of this thing had come down by about 40%. Factor in the trading of that guy over there, which has already been sold, which is nice and swift. We're looking at in the region there of me paying only a few £1,000s for it. So for this, I couldn't say no. I mentioned in a recent video as well, I really wanted to get to a stage where perhaps we would be able to, you know, have a bit of a one-man contracting fleet. So when we have our own work done here, we could look to branch out a little bit more. And what better way of doing this rather than having exactly all of the own equipment that we need here, not having to rely on the nephew again, although sometimes he is useful to have around, and being able to jump on as much of this as possible myself. And I think really this is a great way to do it. So I came in the other day to cross the T's and dot the I's on this deal here, as you do, and we got talking about haymaking equipment in general and silage making equipment in general, and then this came into the fray. It was literally being delivered on the back of the truck to here as I was in the yard. It's like it was planned. When you can pull forward a little bit there, but what it does mean is that we have, or I have, been able to acquire this beautiful pottinger rake, again trading in my class liner, which was a great rake there. A little bit on the heavy side if it was on the back of the Fiat, but this can be pulled by the Fiat without any issues. And we also have it's a twin rotor rake, quite clearly, so we are doubling our output there, which is, well, frankly, let's stick that on for the travel, perfect, really. And I can't wait. And it's really going to allow us to get through that output there a little bit faster. I'm hoping, door sounds awfully rattly these days. I'm hoping that we can really get after it here and make some fantastic progress there when we do start to knock down the next lot of grass, which might not be too far away actually. The weather is looking good, everything's drying out nicely. Still itching to do a little bit more first cut silage, so we may well end up not sticking a mower onto a tractor later on as we look to get into it. But we'll look into what that looks like when we're back at the yard. But as I mentioned, we need to get this equipment back, and then we're going to look into a new arrival, or of a secret source really, at the yard there, which is going to allow us to really improve our cattle's performance, improve their output, improve their health and their well-being, which is all that we need to be looking to do at this current time. So without further ado, we're going to just take ourselves along and back to the yard here. We'll park these up for now, and then we'll have a bit more of a discussion about the cows.
Left the big city for the simple country life. Found myself a woman that it took for me to be my wife. I was working on the ground, come the sun up to sundown. Hey, I'm trying to make a reputation for a man inside this town. Hard as I try, maybe I just can't. I ain't no up and kind of leave.
Now I have been reliably informed that there is a truck driver here by the name of Martin, and Martin is waiting for me to learn where he needs to tip everything. So we're not going to even look at unloading these or parking these bits of equipment up just yet, because we need to look into that. You'll see the first cut ground is looking pretty good, actually. I'm starting to get a little bit of regrowth on there, which is good. We haven't had too much rain, which is a little bit of a concern. Would love a little bit more just to get everything kicking along. But the flip side of that, I've also got some silage I want to make. So, you know, maybe hold off for a little bit. I'll get some more first cut knocked down today. And then it can do it at once, really. But yeah, for right now then, I think we will just very gently park this into here. Yeah, look at me with a twin rotor rake and everything. We're really kicking on here. I mean, the only reason that we have been able to do this, I should say, is that, you know, we've been able to release a little bit of capital. We've got some great success recently from the garden diversification that we went into, and we've also been able to see, you know, a great opportunity with the new business line that we're going into there as well. So we were able to make a little bit work. Of course, we're part exchanging our existing lineup of fleet there, so that took a big chunk out of the payment. So that's all good, and the rest of it we will look forward to doing as soon as possible. And yeah, like I say, we'll get this all paid off as soon as we can. But for the most part, you know, I have of course left my beacons on because I do that. But yeah, for the most part, I'm very, very happy with what we've got. So we'll look into this in a bit more detail. We will probably certainly be getting the rake going very soon. I have yet to decide. The weather doesn't look too good for making hay, and we've got enough ground to go that I think we'll probably just do a little bit more silage first. And the worst case, if we are in a position to sell it, then fantastic, we will. However, there is a truck, an 8-wheeler up ahead here, and we're gonna have a look into this and see what lies inside of it, really, because that, my friends, that is where our secret sauce is being contained. So without further ado, let's see where Martin is. Let's get this tipped and take it from there.
Well, working 3 jobs, living out of a car. Mama never told me life would get this hard. Running around the world playing my guitar. Baby, you can love me, you can leave me. I'm a honky-tonk star. Yeah, I'm a honky-tonk star.
Martin is putting that down. There is an elephant in the room here that I will have to address. There's a fence here. It's not fully finished, but there's a fence here. And Martin has ruined my fence by tipping all over it. However, this is an area that we leveled out with a little bit of stone that we had left over from some of the drainage work. And this was a little bit of a rediversion because we needed somewhere to tip this stuff. Now, what is this stuff? Well, let's get Martin paid up for it and we'll get him out of here. And there he goes. And so he is away down the lane there and he is gone. But what is this stuff in front of us here? Anyone have any guesses there? If you know what we're talking about, stick it into the comments down below. But this is brewer's grain, as we refer to it as. Now, many people might refer to it as a Selco, I do believe it is, from some locations. And some people might just call this a byproduct of a brewing system. And that's exactly what it is. So what this is used for, this is used within the fermentation when various different brewing companies are producing whichever product they make. For example, this is a form of spring barley, a malted barley here that was coming from a distillery and a brewery that was making lager. So this is particularly very, very good for us because this is a very, very high form of protein for our cattle there. When we can't get our cattle outside, when the options for feed in the grass are not too good there, when the grass is not growing so much, and when it's not particularly good conditions, the level of proteins in these grasses are not great. What that means is that when they don't have as much protein there, they're not producing as much milk. Cattle that don't produce as much milk is no very good for a dairy farmer. So we bring in this stuff. This is going to be blended into our daily rations. We're still feeding them every day just a little bit because, like I say, Grass isn't growing too strong at the moment, so we need something. But there will be continued to blend in that and a bit more detail, a bit more quantity over the course of the winter as well. We're able to ship this in. It's not the cheapest. We don't need to put too much into a ration though, so that's good news. Maybe about, with our new bucket on our Massey, about 2 bucket loads per full mixer there. So it's very easy to complete. Now, what we do need to be careful about here is making sure we don't put too much in. Too much of a good thing can not be good at times, so we have to be careful from that. And also, it's very expensive. However, this will allow us to really continue to look after our cattle's health, look after their productivity, and make sure they keep their conditioning on it as well throughout the winter months. It was not going to be too long if the weather keeps up like this, you know, until we're having to feed them throughout the summer, actually, because it is just very hot, very dry at the moment. So, you know, there's been a little bit of rain there. There's forecast a big storm coming up soon, but this has been getting pushed and pushed and pushed, and I think it's due to other elements happening around Europe at the moment, so we haven't seen it. So we brought this in anyway so we can have a bit of a backup for now and see how we get on with it. Like I say, we just need to finish up a bit more of this fence here and probably relay all this bit now that Martin's just tipped a whole load of stuff on it. That was brilliant. So yeah, no, we'll have to get this this all sorted out here. But essentially, this is going to allow us to really increase how we're feeding the cattle and what the quality that we're feeding them as well. Furthermore, this shed still remains empty, but it's not going to be the case for too much longer, I don't think. We're looking to get some cattle, some young bullocks into here in probably about the next month or so. Or you got them lined up, went to have a look at the farm in question they're coming from. So we should be seeing those fairly soon. But they're just starting calving over there, and we'll leave them there for about a month. So we'll get them in about a month, 6 weeks time, and we should be looking dandy. So that's going to be the plan there. Can't wait to see how that plans out. And yeah, let me know if you have been using anything similar there, what your experiences are and how it's been going. Like I say, we're going to start mixing that in. At the moment, it's going to be into 1 ration a day because that's all they get in at the moment because they are still on grass. But when we get into the winter there, they'll be getting that in both of their rations as well. Keenan's doing okay as well. Like I say, it's still ticking along at the moment there. It's the yard's getting a little bit full. We need to get rid of some bits and pieces from around here sooner rather than later. And then we've even got that bucket on ready to have a bit of a play around with that. So we will just take this tractor up to there for now. And then, yeah, we'll probably put the mower onto something as well there, just so we can go and knock down a little bit more grass, because now is the time to get going with it, really. And we will see. I'm hoping that we're going to take one more field down the first cut silage so we can get into it, and probably look to get that baled tomorrow. I do need to see where and when my nephew is available though, so we can plan that in accordingly. But yeah, otherwise it's gonna be nice and handy stuff just to shift around with the loader bucket. Not too difficult at all. But yeah, we have to do a little bit of movement there and shoveling it through a fence line of all things. But these things happen. Okay. And that is going to be us. Into the hopper we go. So with that being said, we're just going to take a load of this down here. We'll get ourselves ready. We're not going to mix anything up just yet. You'll see us doing that in a lot more detail throughout the course of the summer and into the winter. But for now, we need to get some grass cut down. So let's get everything set up there, and let's see where we're going to head. One thing I thought I would show you, just run up the hill to show you here. The pigs are thriving right now. They absolutely love this weather. They're killing it up here. They're really doing well. You can see where they've been rummaging around, and the grass is a little bit lower in places there than others, and they are just having at it right now. And you know, I am all good with that. They seem to be doing well. And yeah, conditioning is looking good there as well. We'll have a walk around them daily just to check in on them, but we don't have to feed them with anything else. They've got the water out there. But yeah, they're looking good. So long may that be the case, because the cost of pig meal is skyrocketing at the moment. So if they can get everything they need from the ground, and they'll probably only be able to do that for another few weeks actually, but we'll see how they get on there, and then we will be back on the feeding them something. But yeah, we're probably going to be keeping those. There's a bit of an age range there, but the oldest will be kept with us for a while. Hello ladies, we're just coming through. Mind your back, excuse me, coming through. Yeah, so the eldest of the pigs there will be kept for a while, but we should be looking to get rid of those about just before Halloween really, and they'll go away to be put into boxes. But yeah, it's all very, very exciting. All go around here. So like I say, we're off to go and do a bit of mowing. one man is off to mow a meadow, and we're going to see how we get on. We're going to go probably up to the silage ground that we were on this time last year, actually. So it's a little bit of a drive, but it will allow us to get going there. And we're going to, everything we make off there, I imagine, given what we have around here already, we're likely just going to be stuck it on the side of the field to sell at a later date. And then, yeah, it'll give me a good chance to see how that slurry is rotting away, really. And, oh, there's a dog on loose. On the land that we did cover, over there, we will be looking into that. Now, I do know of a contractor nearby who is looking to do a bit more slurry spreading there, so we might bring them in at some point to do the some of the work for us on that side of things, because it is a long old draw to get up there and back, and it does take some time and make a mess through the village. But we will see. We're not there yet anyway, so we'll have to see how we get on with that. But for right now, we're looking pretty good. And we'll just take our time through and around here. And hopefully, yeah, we'll get this all knocked down today. It's going to be around about 16-ish acres, I think we've got to cut. It's a bit of an odd-shaped field there. Hasn't had too much in terms of inputs on. Had a little bit of nitrogen on at the earlier stage of spring there, and it seemed to have responded well enough. But we're trying to use that sparingly, obviously, because of the storing costs. So we'll stay away from putting too much of that on. Winter drilled crops and the spring drilled crops aren't looking too bad. So yeah, we've got a lot of sunlight on there, but we could just do with a little bit more rain just to get everything growing along there. The timing of it has to be good, though. Obviously, if we get this first cut of silage finished, then we could get the rain. That'd be magnificent. It really would. But yeah, some of the grassland leaves a little bit to be desired, but we're going to go into here anyway. We'll stop right here, and whilst we unfold the mower, we're actually going to go and have a bit of a peek over the road there and see what we're looking like. Oh, right then. Look left, look right, look left again. And over we go and hurdle this. So, only in the last kind of 10 days or so has this really started to grow a little bit. You'll see as we look down there, you can see a faint trace of the slurry that was on there, but otherwise it's looking really good. This is another set of fields that we could really do with a bit more grass on here, primarily because this ground here is going to be hay ground. We're going to be baling this up to sell it. And at the moment, in its current stage there, not going to get too much hay off of this. So we do want to see a bit more growth on these. That would be fantastic, really. So we have to keep an eye on it. The spring barley at the far end there should be doing very well as well. We haven't checked on that in a little bit, but it does look like it's thickening out nicely from afar. But yeah, that's what we want to see. You see a little bit of improvement along here. But yeah, a good thick looking crop of grass to start with, though. I'm pleased with how this is looking. If this can get a good bit of water and a good growth, we should be in a phenomenal position. And that will be us for the summer, really. At least one crop of hay off here. We might try and get a very sneaky late cut of silage off it as well, if the late summer is kind to us in that regards. But if it's not, we will look elsewhere. But main aim for right now is to cut what we can cut and control what we can control in front of us, and then we will see how we go. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Tenant Farmer. Whoa! Where have you come from? Just people coming from everywhere here today. My name is David, and when I'm not nearly running people over there, I am your Tenant Farmer. So welcome back. It's been a week or two, and we have been ticking along, really, waiting for some better weather, which is still not yet to come. So this morning it's nice and early. We've got some cattle to feed, we've got a few bits and pieces to do, and we've got some bales to stack, and then hopefully soon we'll get some slightly better weather so we can get some hay cut. At the moment there, though, we're still hanging on waiting for that time to arrive. So what we're going to do is we've got everything ready here just to feed up the dairy cattle this morning. Let's just park our truck out the way, and we can get going. So we're still waiting for everything to grow around here, really. I am looking to see if we get some slurry spread into some of the ground sooner or later. I want to get it on earlier because at some point soon the grass is going to be too long, really, and it's going to be too close to being cut again, so we'll have to leave that. But we have our Fiat 1890 on the Keenan. We're mixing in the brewer's grain that we have over here as well, so that's going to go into our feeder. We'll put a bit of silage in there, some straw, and a bit of hay to boot. But first things first, as we always do every morning, we fire up the Fiat. We'll let that just tick on over. Let that warm on through a bit before we turn anything on. And let's go for a little bit of a drive over to get some another bucket load of Selco here from the other side of the yard. And we're away. Yeah, like I say, we have silage bales to stack up. Now these are the bales over at the west end of the land that we're probably just going to sell straight from the field, to be honest. But we'll stack them at the corner just out the way for now. And then when that time does come that we're ready to sell them, you know, we'll just load them straight into a tractor from where they stand. Actually, I think. But that will be the plan there eventually. Right now, get this open there. We're slowly working our way through this heap. The cattle seem to like this being added into the diet as well. They're certainly not complaining about it, that's for sure, which is good. And it's allowing us to kind of get a little bit more of a high level of protein into their diet, which right now is going to be important. And then otherwise, yeah, they're doing well. They're strong. We're looking to get the calves arriving very soon. Actually, I think that's going to be next week. We should see that. So they're going to be coming in from a few different locations, but it's nice to kind of get that planned out for when they're going to arrive, because that is the start of the new cycle, really. It's always pretty fun. But yeah, let's just get this put into here. No matter how you work this yard, it's never quite big enough. There's always something in the way. Alright, so with one bucket load into there, we're just going to swap around a fork or two, grab some silage, get some hay and a bit of straw into here, get the mixer set away, and we are looking good, I think. So that's going to be the plan to start the day off with. And then all being well, get some silage stacked up as well. But yeah, this is all how we always start our mornings off at the moment here, getting the cattle set up right. Milking is done by we've got a relief milk here at the moment, so I don't have to worry about that, which is great. And they can take care of all of the hardship of the early morning starts there. And I can roll in at around about 7. It's just after that time now there, so we've got lots to do and we'll get everything ticked along. I'm looking to try and get a contractor in soon to help with the bit of slurry application. Because I want them just to be able to put it out in a few different locations there, and it might be a bit quicker for them. We'll crack on with our triple bar as well, but for what I have in mind, it might just be a little quicker and easier to get them to jump onto it. But anyway, we will see if that'll all work out soon. The field that we're going to clear, that's going to be the first one to start with, so we can get that covered nice and quickly, and then we'll see what opportunities await for us after that. But yeah, lots to plan for, lots to navigate around as well, and we'll see how it all goes. But as always, it's never a dull day, never a dull moment here. Let's just go and get this all loaded up there, get the cattle fed, and then we'll go on to the next step of the day. One thing I've noticed for sure is when we're starting to do all the morning tasks, having this newer loader, bigger loader as well, than the old 5400 machine that we had there is just such a game changer. It really is speeding up the entire operation. Everything's a lot more fluid as well. We're able to lift more at once, that bigger capacity, and it's just more comfort really. Well, I want to try and ensure as well as that because we're in and out of the tractor cab a lot there, that we do keep this tractor looking clean as possible. That's going to be quite key. But alright, let's just stick this in. And then we will set the feet away. Wonderful stuff. Alright, next up is going to be a bale of hay. Got a little bit of straw in there as well. And mixed with a strange cake. Now, as I think I've mentioned on many different occasions there, the reason that we are still feeding them, we are coming into summer, whilst yes, there is grass out there for them to eat, the grass isn't of the same good quality at the moment that we'd like it to be, which is why we're still buffets in their ration. They don't get fed twice a day through us here, but they do get one feed in, just so we can guarantee that they're getting a good quality feed, and then they'll go out into the grass. Now grass conditions will change depending upon the weather as well there, so if it's sunny we get a slightly better quality grass coming through, which hopefully we're going to see a lot of that, although the weather forecast does not suggest that's going to be the case, but we'll have to see how that turns out. He's around the corner here and into the feeder we go. Alright, so we're going to let that all mix up. Shouldn't be too long. Whilst we wait, we've got everything we need into there now. So what we can do right now is get ourselves ready to go and cast some bales in, really. So again, we're going to swap around the implements on the front, put the bale fork onto the back there, and then we can go and, well, we should be pretty close to being ready to move some silage around. So we'll get everything fed up, and then we'll go and have a look at how we go on in the field. And this is what it all comes down to eventually, folks. They're feeding up, making sure the cattle are happy, and then they'll be able to get on out into the paddock there, all being well. We're just taking our time, making sure they've got plenty. We'll come back through and push it up later on as well, just to make sure that they're not missing anything there, because sometimes they do nose away from the trough a little bit. But then we are good to get out of here, really. And you can see we're ticking on down the scale there. There's plenty to go out here as well, so we'll probably keep a little bit in the feeder for tomorrow at this rate. But yeah, we're looking good. So we'll get them all fed up, and then it's out off into the mass here. I've already hooked it on up to the bale handler on the front and rear. So we're kind of ready to go, really. We're just going to unload this, and then we'll get after it. Alright, so a cup of coffee has been had as well. We're all looking pretty set to go. Just bring that in where we can. Yeah, we're looking so we're going to go and head over to the grass field over the west side there. We'll also take another look at the hay ground just to see how that's looking, and we'll be able to follow up, really, and just make sure that we can around the corner we go, make sure that we can actually get ourselves ready to go for some hay over there sooner rather than later. We just need about a week of good weather, really. We need a few days to dry it out before we mow it, and we're gonna need a few good strong days after that fact to get it knocked down there, get it tethered around a few times, and be in a good enough position that we can actually do something with it. So that's what we're going to be looking into. And we'll have to see how we get on, really. If it's anything like the grassland that we baled up there, the yield was actually pretty good, and it's had equal amounts of slurry on it in the past, so we could be okay there. I'm certainly hoping we get the same amount for hay. Now, not all of this hay we're going to be keeping for ourselves there. A lot of it is going to be going into small square bales for the equine industry. So we'll be trying to get as much as we can there, because this could really drive up a little bit more of our revenue. But yeah, as you'll see, this silage here, like I said, I've mentioned there, we are going to be looking just to sell this straight off. But yeah, it is doing, or it did, very well, actually. All things considered. It's a good while to get it all baled up, I know that much. But what we're going to do is stack it where we stacked it last time, and just look to get ourselves all ready to go with this, and just get it all put along the edge, and just down by the gate here. So when we do come to sell it off, at least we can just get the whoever's coming in to pick it up in and out nice and quickly. But we're going to put the first bale about there. Clear all these bales out that I know are going to be in my way, including that one right there. But as you can see, plenty of bales. We'll get this done throughout the course of today, really, and then yeah, we can forget about it. Get some slurry put onto this field soon. I'm toying between the idea of, like I say, bringing in a contractor with a dribble bar to help do this, and I can just cart it to and from with my trailer, or my tanker, or just doing it all myself. But we'll have to see what their availability is like. Essentially, that's what it's going to come down to. I think it'll be probably a bit more efficient to do it with a contractor in state. But hey, we'll see how that looks. Before we go any further as well, let's have a look at what's been growing over here, shall we? As you can see, grass over there, it's coming along. It needs a bit longer, but it's doing well. It's certainly, like, walking through now, your feet are getting wet, so it's certainly not good enough to go into. However, our spring drilled crops are looking rather good. We are in our barley here, as you can see. It's kicking on very nicely indeed. So this is our winter barley here. You got our spring barley is over the far side there. There are a few weeds here that I think I must have missed with the spray. We didn't quite have everything set up there properly, and they're coming through on the tram line there. So, you know, it's not the worst location. The rest of the crop looks pretty clean. It looks pretty thick as well, I must say. I'm really pleased with how this is coming on. And hopefully there we'll start. We're in that period now where the seeds are starting to really fill out. So this is really important for the development. So we'll have to hope that we get a lot of dry weather, a lot of sun. It's looking good. It's had enough rain on it recently there, so hopefully that's all. We'll just get some nice warm weeks there just to really finish off this this growing period. And then yeah, we're on the last stretch through to harvest there. So looking really good. Very impressed with how this is coming on. This year we have got our 2 fields here, this one and that one over there. We have got our oats over there on the new ground. You can just see in the very far ground there. That was recently drilled about 4 or 5 weeks ago now. And then we've got our field of winter or spring oilseed rape just over the next field. So that will be good to see as well. We've also got our sunflowers in the corner there for the winter bird feed too. So it's enough for what we need. I've always mentioned there that we predominantly grow a lot of our cereal crops for the straw for our animals. But yeah, it's looking good. Very impressed with it, and that'll keep us going through the summer there as well. But aside from that, really everything else is just dandy, as they say. And we're going to look to continue to get this all cleared, and we can see how we get on from there. We're going to probably, when we start to pull them in from a bit further away there, we'll start to use the rear handler there. Right now it's just going to be a case of grabbing all these ones, and then we'll be good. But otherwise, it's just a short little update to show you where we are, where we're back, and then we'll get back into the swing of things later on. The produce from the garden boxes is really actually starting to kick up now that we're into warmer, drier weather. You know, we've seen a lot more production coming through there, and the temperature of the soil's really warmed up as well. So we're seeing a lot better produce coming in from there, which is great, and that means that ultimately we're going to be able to sell more. So when that happens, we'll of course bring you along for the updates there, and start planning on what we're going to do with that for the next year as well, to see if we're going to keep the same strategy or change it out at all. But I don't see any reason to change it yet. It's still making us a little bit of money each and every month, so that's all that we can really ask. But if you do have any questions, comments or feedback, do leave them down below as always. Well, we'll wrap this up just about here, I think. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you have enjoyed. I've been David. This has been an update where we nearly ran into a neighborhood pedestrian right off the get-go, but we are all good. The cattle are looking good, they're fed up, and we're into the fields in the dry and waiting for hay to start. So until next time, we'll catch you then. Do stay safe, enjoy what you're doing as always, and we'll see you next time.